Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is once again your weekly preview show in podcast form. I got a ton of great feedback from you all who said they really enjoyed the podcast format. And by a ton of great feedback, I mean, I think 2 people said something. So here we are in video form. I hope you enjoy seeing my face and hearing my voice. Well, let's get right to it. Last week was a crazy week. I continued to doubt Steve, and he put up a career best 181.34 points. First time he has ever made an appearance on the weekly top scoreboard, which you can find in the stat spreadsheet, which the cutoff for that is 175 points. So first time he's done that. And we can give an honorable mention to Dusty, who was also over 175, just barely, 175.78. I think these all get slight asterisks because of the fractional scoring, but nonetheless, extremely impressive. Poor Josh put up a 156.38, a great score of his own, getting 42.5 from Jared Goff as they just destroyed Jacksonville. So an incredible performance there. You got 30 from Jonnu Smith. Actually, both tight ends in this matchup went over 30. Brock Bowers is ridiculous. He's no Tyler Warren, but he's incredible. 33.3. Over 40, unfortunately for Josh. A lot of those Goff throws and 2 of the touchdowns went to Amon-Ra, who was owned by Steve. He put 40.7 on the board, and he still was able to get 181 up there when Jaden Daniels barely made it to 15. I'm a little concerned about Jaden Daniels, but I digress. That was certainly the matchup of the week. So Steve is out to 8-3. That knocked Josh to 7-4. Two key contenders, and I hope we get to see them match up again. That was a fantastic game. There was another banger out there. Squiggs squeaking by. Cree technically maintaining his playoff eligibility, 124 to 121. So Cree with the loss remains a game back of myself for the division lead, because I also lost to Bill, which is always embarrassing when you lose to Bill. Joe Burrow was ridiculous, better than Saquon Barkley. He got a vintage Cooper Kupp performance as he acquired him via the trade earlier this year, and my trade just didn't work out. We'll get to trades here in a minute, but yeah, that was the Saquon show for me. Just didn't quite do enough, and I took the loss to go back under 500. Bill gets a huge win to get to 6-5. Also getting a huge win was Dusty. Again, I mentioned he scored 175. He crushed Matt. Matt is pretty much eliminated at this point. He is in 10th place at 4-7. Dusty, for his part, is 5-6. He's right there. He's right behind Bill for that final wild card spot at 6-5. Bill right now, for what it's worth, has 1,400 points, and Dusty has 1,351. So it's an advantage, Bill, but it's a gap that can be closed. The bad news for Dusty is, as you know, these last 3 weeks of the regular season, we're going to play divisional matchups. So that means Dusty's going to have to go through Ben, Jared, and Josh, and he's going to need to at least win 2 of those games. It can be done. He's actually scored more points on the year than Josh. So it can be done, and we'll get to the preview here in a minute, but that's quite a gauntlet. Bill's going to obviously have to play Steve and a surging Squiggs, who will be dangerous because he still has McCaffrey, still has Jefferson, and then he does get Matt. So it's an easier road for Bill. Stranger things have happened, and we all know that Bill is an elite loser. So that is certainly on the table that Dusty could overtake him. Other notable scores, we had Jared only putting up 108, but still getting the job done as Ports just kind of playing out the string here with a 76.74. And we also had Ben improving to 9-2. So congratulations, Ben. First time he's ever won more than 8 games in a season. He has 9 here with 3 weeks to go. So a chance at double digits. Pete down to 3 and 8. And again, Ben's still sitting on 99 career losses. So he's staving that off at least another week. Pete down to 3 and 8. It's pretty much between him and Ports, who is also 3 and 8 for that number 1 overall pick, which is going to be scintillating stuff when those two square off. Another just housekeeping note here. Pay your dues. $40. Dusty, Cree, Matt, Squigs. Pay your dues. These 4 of you, I see what's going on here. All 4 of you could miss the playoffs. I think 1 of you makes it, but at least 3 of you are going to be sitting at home. So I see what's going on here. Still want your money. All right. I talked about the standings briefly. Steve at 8-3 leads the Panama Red Noskies division. 2-game edge over Bill. So if he wins this week and Bill loses, it's over. He will clinch not only the division, but he will also clinch a first-round bye. So something to watch there. Again, Bill 6-5 just has to keep winning. He's 2 up on Squigs, who's 4-7, technically still alive, but is going to obviously have to make hay there. I continue to lead the big old TDs division at 5-6. Thanks for naming it that, Steve. I'm 5-6, a game up on Cree, and I'm about 96 points ahead in scoring. So that's a pretty significant advantage. And Cree and myself meet up this week. So that'll be a big game. Cree pretty much has to win to maintain any hope of making the playoffs and getting the division title. And then, as I mentioned, Ports and Pete wrestling at the bottom. Pete with the inside track on the number 1 pick. 3 straight losses. He's barely now crossed over the 1,000-point mark, which I think Jared hit in week 4. And then, of course, just the gauntlet down here, the Booger division. It's a great division name. He's a terrible football analyst and said some absolutely moronic things on Tuesday, but this isn't the place to talk about those things. We're talking about fantasy football, and right now Ben is out in front still, 9-2, a game up on Jared. Jared again with the points advantage. That lead is trimmed down a little bit, but for now does have the points advantage at 8-3, a game back. They play this week. That is like game of the century. Even though most of the good players are on bye, it's still going to be very interesting. So we have Josh right behind them at 7-4, looking to push his way into the postseason. If he can win and beat Dusty, he will clinch a spot himself, so that is a big game. Indeed, looks like Josh will probably be in either way, but we'll see where it goes. Those are kind of the clinching scenarios right now. As it stands, we had a number of trades since I posted the last preview. I'll go through them very quickly. I traded just before Thursday Night Football for Scary Terry, and the only person that was scary for was me, because I think he had like 1 catch for 10 yards, and that did not work out so well in my loss. I gave up a 2nd-round pick, and I had immediate buyer's remorse. Matt picked up David Montgomery. He gave up a 2025 third, which I thought was fine, but he also gave up Travis Etienne, which I thought was interesting. Bill picked up Mark Andrews from Ports as well, so Ports trading away some key players, and he picked up a 7th-round pick in that deal, which I thought was fine. Steve got Breece Hall off of Squigs, who sort of soft sold. So Steve gets Breece Hall. That's going to make Steve even more dangerous, and he gave up a 3rd and a 6th. And so those were the notable trades. The trade deadline is over. We will not have any more trades until after the Deerdorf Bowls. There will be no more trades. You can make trades on Sleeper in the offseason. But until then, trades are done. So let's get on with it. On to the picks this week. We're going to start out with me and Cree, obviously. This is going to be an interesting one. Like I said, if I win, that should just about put the division away. Cree needs to win right now. They're calling for a 30-point win. It's going to be closer than that because it just is. But I still feel confident. I'm going to take myself to win and just about put the division out of reach. Then we have what is kind of a low-key interesting game. If Squigs can manage to win, there's a lot of people cheering for Squigs in terms of that playoff hunt. They want Bill to lose. We'll see. It's going to be it's hard to pick against Squigs when he's still sitting there with McCaffrey, Jefferson. He might get Mike Evans back. And so I think Squigs is going to pull this one off. Squigs wins. It's going to put him at 5-7, Bill to 6-6. And it could be uncomfortable time there for Bill. No question about it. Steve gets to play Matt. I think he'll take care of business there. And so if that happens, Steve will have clinched the division. Those 2 results play out. I'm not going to spend too much time on Steve versus Matt. We also have Dusty versus Josh. This is a big game. Dusty's predicted to win right now. He's going to try to ride Bo Nix, Auburn legend Bo Nix, to a victory here. Should be super interesting. This is one you got to keep an eye on. Josh, I still think, is okay and comfortable and will make the playoffs. But he's got the same gauntlet: Dusty, Jared, and Ben. Stranger things have happened, and you could see him 7-7, looking on the outside, looking in. So he needs to win. This is a huge game for both of these teams. And then at the bottom, we have just an epic toilet bowl matchup of the week here between Ports and Pete. The loser is going to get the first overall pick. That's almost a lock, unless they accidentally win a game down the stretch against Cree or myself. So this is going to be great. Kind of if you're familiar with the Sickos committee, this is our Sickos game of the week right here. So enjoy that one. Two teams that they don't care right now. They just don't care. They can watch the Steelers and the Broncos at least and be happy about that. All right. Game of the week. It's Ben, 9-2, number 1 overall right now, versus Jared, 8-3, leading the league in points. You saw Jared post a snapshot, a screenshot of the benches in this matchup. It's super unfortunate. Obviously, we had Taysom Hill go off last week. He's on the bench. Garrett Wilson's on the bench. This is all for Ben. He's still got Pacheco on IR. Jared is going to be missing Kamara, Brian Thomas, Jamar Chase, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Just a ridiculous. It's nice to have. It's nice to have that bench, but it sucks they're all on it. And then to make matters worse for Jared, they're going to have Lamar Jackson travel to the Chargers, a good defense, and that's going to be challenging. So it's a tall task for Jared. Again, he needs to win. If Ben wins, the division is just about over. He gets his 10th win, continues on his career high in wins. Again, Ben is going to go with Baker Mayfield, so it's Baker versus Lamar. Nice little throwback AFC North quarterback matchup ahead of Thursday Night Football, which is an AFC North game. I think Jared's going to find a way to get it done. I don't know what it is. I look at these rosters, and I think Jared's going to get it done. It just seems like he's got the momentum. He's predicted to win right now by less than 2. So this spread is just under 2 right now, which would be crazy. And something else you can watch here. Jared is plus 288 on the season in terms of point differential, and the record is 424. Pete set that record in 2013. He won his one and only Deerdorf Bowl that year. He went 10-3 and was led by Peyton Manning and Adrian Peterson. So that could be on the table. He's going to have to really blow some teams out. He's going to have to win all 3. I think that's safe to say, and get to what would be 11-3. So this is one to watch here. It's going to be super interesting. Again, I'm going to take Jared in a close one. So just to recap the picks real quick, I'm going to take myself. I'm taking Jared. I got Squigs upsetting Bill slightly. Steve rolls Matt. We're going to have Dusty knocking off Josh, I think, in a close one. And do you need me to pick the Ports Pete game? No. Okay. No one cares. Ports wins. I don't know. You're both trash. You're both trash. Okay. The other pick I'll make is Browns Steelers tonight. This is the most obvious trap game in NFL history. It's such an obvious trap game. I don't even know if it's considered a trap. I think the Browns win. Tomlin's like 2-8 on the road on Thursday Night Football. He's just not that good on the. That's like his one area where he stinks, other than the playoffs. 2-8 on the road on Thursday. I think the Browns find a way to win. Although Squiggs just texted me and said that Jameis has never played a game when it's been colder than 40 degrees outside, which is a little mind-boggling. He played at Florida State, played for the Saints. Still mind-boggling, right? Played in the NFC South for a long time. So I don't know if that's going to matter, but I'm still taking the Browns. Steelers coming off that huge win. Browns, nothing to play for, but spoiling the Steelers season. Give me the Browns. I will say 16-13, and I'm going to see 2 missed extra points tonight. 1 by each kicker. How about that? So good luck to everybody again, except for Bill. See you.